There's a weirdo locked up in prison. He climbs the walls every single day, but it's not to break out. It's to build up his body when others are out for exercise. He's lifting weights when others are resting. He's throwing punches even when he's working. He takes the heaviest possible load and puts it all on his own shoulders. When it pours down rain, he runs through the mud to build endurance. High-intensity bodyweight workouts go on one set after another. The reason he's so desperate to get stronger is actually simple. It has nothing to do with hope or freedom. It's hatred, pure hatred. Before this man went to prison, he was just an ordinary steelworker. He had a beautiful wife and a peaceful life, but this fragile happiness was completely destroyed by a home intruder who acted on a whim, just to cause pure evil. Kyle was out at the time, and he clearly heard his wife's desperate screams over the phone. He raced home like a madman, only to find his wife lying in a pool of blood, with no life left in her. Her clothes were torn, her body covered in wounds. She had been brutally raped and killed. Later Kyle fought with all his might to catch the monster, and went through hell to bring him to court. He naively thought there would at least be justice, but he never could have imagined. The man was from a filthy rich family. All the undeniable evidence was torn apart by the lawyer's lies and the power of money. In the end he was found not guilty and set free. Looking at the proud and mocking smirk on the killer's face, Kyle's last bit of faith. Just as the killer was about to leave the courtroom, Kyle suddenly grabbed a guard's gun and fired wildly at his enemy. Several shots rang out in the sullen courtroom. The enemy fell to the ground. He had his revenge, but the real nightmare was just beginning. Kyle was sentenced to life in prison and sent straight to Kravavi prison, a place that strikes fear into every inmate. Here the law is the biggest joke. Human life is worth less than dirt. To survive in this dog-eat-dog world, you either have fists of steel or pockets full of cash. And every rule here, life, death and honor, is decided on a whim by the all-powerful warden. The intake process is like an assembly line. Everything the inmates own is roughly taken away. Kyle was no exception, but even that wasn't enough for the guards. They set their eyes on his wedding ring on his left ring finger, but it was the only thing he had left of his late wife. Kyle refused to give it up, but his resistance only brought a brutal beating from the guards. The ring was eventually ripped off. Kyle was filled with rage but dared not speak. He just stared daggers at the guard. The terrified inmates around him, none dared to meet his eyes. That's the rule in Kravavi. Once you step inside, you're less than human. Forget about dignity. The prison is controlled by three major gangs, constantly fighting each other. Among them, under the Russian mafia, there's an inmate nicknamed Mad Dog, a sick freak who gets off on torturing the weak. Billy, who came in with Kyle, was only 21, with a gentle face. On his first night in prison, Mad Dog came for him. What followed was a long public humiliation and torture. Billy's piercing screams echoed through the cell all night long. The guards didn't stop it. They even closed the cell door nicely, because Mad Dog had bribed them all. The next day, Kyle saw Billy's horrific state, and the ugly, unashamed look on Mad Dog's face. It was the exact same look as the man who killed his wife. Kyle attacked Mad Dog in a rage. Guards arrived quickly to break up the fight, but they only held Kyle down and gave Mad Dog a reassuring nod. The outcome was obvious. Kyle was taken away alone and thrown straight into solitary confinement. This hellhole is known as the prison within a prison. Filthy water flowed across the floor. The stench was unbearable. The walls were covered in dark bloodstains from those who fought to death before him. The food was a disgusting paste not even a dog would eat. He only had a stone slab to sleep on right next to a stinking pipe. After days of inhuman torture, Kyle's mind finally broke.